I've never been able to solve this problem, Mr. Fowler. Any ideas?
I'm not much of a chess expert, Mr. Peyton. Look, Mr. Peyton, if you could just answer a couple of questions for me.
About Mrs. Cord's journey?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Fowler.
Go ahead.
Is this an official visit?
My office is concerned any time someone fails to answer a court summons.
And what is it that you're so concerned about, Mr. Fowler?
Do you know where Mrs. Cord is?
Must I answer that question?
Only as a favor.
I don't recall that I owe you one, Mr. Fowler.
Mr. Peyton, I can understand you're having a certain feeling of animosity towards me because of Rodney's trial. Mr. Peyton, if you could just answer a couple of questions for me.
Excuse me, Mr. Fowler. What are you doing here?
Hello, Martin.
Why didn't you telephone? What do you mean by just coming back into the house like this?
Martin, I've decided...
Mrs. Cord.
Mr. Fowler.
Did you have a pleasant trip?
That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Fowler.
You look as though you ran into a little bad weather.
Mrs. Cord has never been much of a traveler.
Excuse me.
Mrs. Cord. As I was saying to Mr. Peyton before you came in, it's the responsibility of my office to be sure that anyone who fails to answer a summons will be charged with contempt of court.
She understands.
I assumed she did. But when you left town, I wasn't sure. You understand the importance of a subpoena.
Mrs. Cord's son served her that subpoena. I should think that after my grandson's trial, you'll be the last one to forget that Stephen has a very good understanding of the law.
You're quite right, Mr. Peyton. Then I take it that Stephen made it perfectly clear to you that you must be present when he calls you.
We know what a subpoena is, Mr. Fowler.
Mrs. Cord, would you mind if I asked what was the purpose of your journey?
I mind.
I'd rather hear it from Mrs. Cord.
You have no right to conduct an interrogation in my house. Will it be necessary for me to call my attorney?
Would that be Stephen?
Young man, I knew your father. You've inherited every bit of his arrogance.
If you'll allow me, Mr. Peyton, arrogance is not the word. Confidence would be more accurate.
Anna, call Mr. Wainwright.
There's no need to waste a phone call. I'll be leaving. But it really wouldn't be right of me to walk out of here without telling you something, Mr. Peyton. When I spoke with Stephen a little while ago, he had no idea that Mrs. Cord had left town. At least, not until I told him that she was gone. Goodbye. Mrs. Cord?
Fowler. All right. Mrs. Cord was leaving. She was running out on Stephen's subpoena. You've no idea what poor Mrs. Cord has suffered these past weeks. The grief she's had to bear. The drain on her emotions. Consider what she went through when Stephen's sister returned to Peyton Place. Then when the girl died. Reliving that kind of agony in a court of law, before the wounds have had time to heal, it's asking a person to be superhuman. It's demanding that a woman exhibit the same kind of courage that would qualify a man to receive the Medal of Honor. Yes, Mrs. Cord was leaving. What could you expect her to do?
It's not a question of what I would expect her to do, Mr. Peyton. I'm interested in what you expect her to do. Goodbye again, Mrs. Cord. I am glad to see you back.
You fool. You consummate fool. I told you to leave.
Yes, Martin.
Why did you come back? What's the matter with you?
You wouldn't know why I came back, would you? To you, there's nothing in the world that can't be manipulated. Nothing in the world that you can't juggle to suit your own needs. Well, I'm not like that. Not anymore, Martin. Because I know I have to face it someday. And it might as well be now.
Go to your room.
I'm not a robot, Martin.
We'll talk later, when you've pulled yourself together. You've conjured up some kind of fantasy.
And I'm not moving into a fantasy world. I'm moving out of one. Yours, Martin. I'm disenchanted with the world of Martin Peyton. I'm not a believer anymore. On that plane, I had time to look at that little world, had time to hold it up to the world that I saw below me out that airplane window, the world where other people live, and that's when I knew I had to come back.
And when you were safely strapped in your seatbelt, did you see precisely what it was you were coming back to? Are you ready, really ready, to face Stephen in that courtroom?
I have to be.
Hannah, I won't allow you to get on that witness stand.
I don't remember asking for your permission.
Hannah, I won't allow it. Hannah! Hannah!
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
We're still on a tightrope, Chris. I need help. Your help. I want your cooperation. But you're going to testify regardless, even if I have to subpoena you.
You're everything Lee would like to be. And everything I would like Lee to be. You know that.
Don't try to use me as a sounding board. I don't exactly feel neutral about him, you know.
Or me.